Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Mike from MOBOXgraphics.com, and in this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to get a great depth of field effects in After Effects. Now, I did kind of a more comprehensive review of the camera tool in After Effects, but this time I'm just, I get a lot of questions about how to do the depth of field stuff, so I'm just going to kind of breeze through a few depth of field types things in this video. So anyways, let's jump into After Effects here, and first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make these layers three-dimensional. So you'll notice that I do have 5 circles here. We have some gray ones, and then we have a red one in the center. So first thing I'm going to do is make these three-dimensional, so just the black and the red circles. And I'm going to change this to 2 views. And let's see what's going on. It appears, okay, yeah, I don't know. That white layer was locked, and for some reason it was showing it still, so that was a little strange. But what we have here is I'm looking at the top, and since these are three-dimensional, they are sitting in 3D space. So I'm just going to take these and move them in the Z direction, so towards the camera. And I'm just going to kind of move them so they look relatively like they were in the same spot, but they're closer to the camera. And I'm going to make this one maybe even closer. And I might have to scale them down. But I just want to kind of show you what I mean here by the depth of field. So let's see, maybe I'll make this one about there, this one about there, and then just move them over. It's not going to be perfect, but I'm just showing you. So I'm just going to scale these down, hit S on the keyboard, and scale a couple of them down so they look like they are, well, you know what, I'm not even going to scale them down, I'm just going to leave them. So we have these 4 over here are the gray, and this one's the red. But you can see that there's no depth of field, they're not blurring at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the first view and make sure that's an active camera. And I'm going to go layer new camera. And in here you could change a bunch of settings. So if you're trying to replicate a certain camera, you can, mess with the film size, the angles, the focal length, all that kind of stuff. But I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to hit OK. And you can see here that we still don't get any depth of field effect. So you actually have to open up the camera here, go to camera options, make sure you have depth of field turned on. So the focal distance, which let me just go back to 2 views, you can see that this is the focal length right there. Anything in front of it will be slightly blurred, anything behind it will be slightly blurred, but it's based on the aperture. So if you know anything about cameras, you know it all has to do with the aperture and the focal length. But you could barely see that these are blurring, and that's because the aperture is so low. So if I increase this aperture, you'll see that slowly but surely these start to blur out. So it just depends on how crazy you want it to get. I think that looks pretty good, 245, we'll just make it. But you can see here when I grab this red, when I pull it, it comes out of the depth of it, it gets depth of field effects as well. So even when I actually drag it beyond, you can see it actually starts to blur as well. So one thing you could do is when you change the position, you could change the focal length here because the focal distance will determine kind of where the blurring starts. But one simple thing that you could do is if you hold Alt and hit focal distance, you could actually come here and open up this transform path and open up the transform path on the red circle, and I could just type in here length, and I can get the pick whip, and I could send it to the position of the camera, comma, position of the point, close bracket that, and what that'll do is it will actually make the focal distance track this circle. So all I have to do now is set a position keyframe, hit P on the keyboard, set a position keyframe, maybe go to 3 seconds, maybe move this closer, and you'll be able to see that once this animation plays through, that the focal distance will actually follow the red circle here. So you can see that this is the focal distance. And on this side here, you could see that you are getting that great depth of field effect. So anyways, so coming over to this phone screen, I think this is kind of what most people notice when I do the depth of field. So again, just creating a layer new camera, hitting OK, making sure I set the screen to 3D. I don't really need to set the background to 3D. I'm gonna just rename this to screen. And now for this, I'm not actually gonna parent the length to the screen because the screen's gonna be moving around and I kind of want more control over the depth of field. So let's see, I'm gonna go to transform, or not transform, camera options, depth of field on, increase the aperture, who knows how much. And it really does help when you go to 2 views so you can see exactly what you're working with here. So I'm just gonna move the depth of field or the focal distance right up to where the screen is in full frame, full, I guess, focus. And now I could start kind of rotating this screen. So just adding motion blur, I can start rotating this screen. So as I rotate this, you'll notice that in 3-dimensional space, the bottom of the phone is much closer to the camera than the top. So what effect you're getting here is almost as if the position of the focal distance changes, right, across the phone. So let's see if I just kind of angle that, maybe increase the aperture even more to exaggerate it even more. And now I can change the focal distance. So set a keyframe for the focal distance. Maybe I have the focal distance originally at the top of the phone and then go down to the bottom of the phone. And I'm looking at it from here to see kind of where the focal distance is. So we end it right there. And you could see on this side, you're getting a great change in focus. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, check out other videos on this channel, and be sure to share examples of this type of technique with us on Twitter at MOBOX Graphics or on Instagram, and we'd be happy to check them out because this is all really cool stuff that we're glad that we're able to teach you. So anyways, guys, if you want to download this project file, go become a Patreon supporter over at patreon.com/MOBOX, and we're happy to see your support. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching.